English confidence. Those are two terms that I've connected myself a couple of years ago because of who I am and my story. And I was a little bit nervous of making this video. This video is really different from anything else that I've done before, but I wanted to tell you a little bit of the traits and characteristics that you need to have to become English confident as an ambitious professional. So stay tuned. Hello, it's Francisca and welcome back to my channel. If you aren't subscribed to the channel yet, I highly suggest that you do so and give a little like, because the objective of this video is really to inspire many professionals who feel stuck and who feel in a comfort zone and they want to achieve more personal freedom. Because as an anxiety and depression survivor, I've been through things where I have felt stuck and frustrated and limited and really unsatisfied with opportunities I had in my home country. Speaking about my home country, I'm here in Ayampe in Ecuador, and it's really, really beautiful. It actually makes me a little bit emotional because a few years ago I didn't believe that I was going to be the leader of a community. I didn't believe that I was going to teach others about English confidence because I myself did not feel worthy and did not feel confident to lead others. By the end of this video, I hope that you feel inspired to take action, that you believe in yourself, and that you have a plan to go from feeling limited in personal growth, in vocabulary, in English communication skills, and that you have a roadmap to feeling confident and fluent, because you can have the best course and methodology of them all, but if you're not confident, if you don't believe that you're going to execute a plan, then nothing's going to work. And I tell you because I spent many years feeling complacent, feeling comfortable, and I tell you more about that in my free training. And if you haven't watched it, I'll leave a link below so that you can watch the free English confidence training. And as I said, I wanted to give you a little advice and maybe some pointers or some characteristics that you should begin to build, right? Life skills that you should begin to build to achieve your personal and professional goals. First of all, commitment. So if you haven't heard that word before, new word to your vocab. Commitment is really important to achieve a particular goal. So if you say, I lack vocabulary and I want to become more fluent, then first thing, you should stop relying on things that don't work, like apps. So many of my students, when they come to my program, they've used apps and they feel that they're not really helpful because they get you to a certain point. Yes, you learn words, but you don't have a plan and you don't have commitment, especially if they're free apps that teach you some basic vocabulary, but they're not going to make you fluent. Commitment is very important, and with commitment comes investment in yourself. So if you invest in yourself and invest in a program that works, then you're going to be more committed, and then maybe at first it's going to be more difficult, right? But on the long term, you'll see better results. Second keyword, accountability. And with this, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Are you accountable for your own actions? I mean, do you always say, this course hasn't worked for me, this method hasn't worked for me? But if you look truly within, have you done the steps that you need to get here? Maybe have you listened to new movies and not only listen to words, but also write them down? Or have you listened to music and have you sung it out loud? It doesn't have to be that difficult. You only need small actions that get you to a particular outcome, but you also need accountability. When I started to become accountable for my own actions and I stopped blaming many teachers or mentors or even my parents or my family for many things that have happened to me in my life, I started to grow and I started to see real inner confidence changes. and that changed everything. I started investing in myself. I started listening to mentors that showed me a particular pathway, but I started to become accountable. So you have to dig deep and reflect on, are you doing activities that are moving you forward, or are you staying stuck and procrastinating? Ooh, procrastination, it gives me chills of just thinking about it. Procrastination is really a block that's going to keep you stuck, and it kept me stuck for many years, because as a master's in translation, interpreting, I remember they used to say to me, we have this event, come and interpret, or we have this translation, and I didn't feel confident in my own ability, right? And so I said no. And I see many professionals go through this, that they have a job interview, or they have a presentation, they have a conference, and they're keeping themselves stuck, right? Because maybe they feel unconfident or frustrated. One student of mine one time said this to me: opportunities don't come twice. And it's true, because he's one of the students that has enrolled inside the English Confidence Method. And by the way, if you want to learn more about that program, I'll leave a link below so you can have a chat. But he said this to me, and it really hit home, because it's true. I let many opportunities pass by, and maybe now I don't regret it, because it has made me who I am today, a person that's more resilient. And that's trait number 3, resilience. Resilience is a trait that you need if you want to become fluent, because, and this I learned from a book that's called Atomic Habits from James Clear, and it's a book that I use inside of my program as well, because habits work in this way. It's like when you go to a gym. At first it feels really uncomfortable, and it's like, I don't want to go, oh my God. But then you start seeing motivation, and then you start seeing results. But that is something that's called delayed gratification. See, even before I read Atomic Habits, I began reflecting on how sometimes activities that feel bad at first, they lead to long-term gratification and positive outcomes. But things that feel easy, then they don't lead to the result that you want. Let me give you an example. It's like, again, let's go with apps. Okay, at first it can seem fun. It can seem, okay, this is free, this is fun, I'm learning a few words. But then with time you lose motivation, because you're not that committed, and you don't see the result that you want, which is total confidence and fluency in English. And on the other hand, you go and you invest in a program that is like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to invest in this. I feel scared, I feel afraid. And then at first, maybe you learn things that make you uncomfortable. But then, as weeks go by, you get to the outcome. And this is something that's very important to keep in mind. I know that I've made a lot of mistakes, especially when I started this business as a leader of a community. I was scared of disappointing people. And but I know that if I hadn't taken that risk, then I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have grown so much. And I'm not necessarily talking about money. I'm talking about personal freedom. And where I am today, it made me feel so free. And that's what I want for you who is watching, is that you feel free. You feel free in listening to whatever you want, speaking to whoever you want, and that you get to the outcome. But for that, you need to fall down maybe many times, and then you feel like a winner. And the other word is courage. And with that, I'm going to speak about stepping out of the comfort zone as well, because that has been a life-changing skill for me. Courage to say yes to things that scare you. And inside of my methodology, I actually have a whole module in which we speak about expression and experience. Because for me, it's very important to make my students step out of the comfort zone and be courageous. And as you can see on the screen, I have a student that has gone live inside the community many times. Before that, she was feeling unconfident. She had a good level of English, but she didn't have the inner confidence that she needed to take actions that are going to lead her to her big outcome, which is going to work in Canada. And just this week we were reviewing her letter that she sent to the embassy to make her dreams come true as an English speaker and as someone who is going to have amazing experiences in Canada. And so for that, she had to take courageous actions. I remember the first conversation that I had with her. She was so afraid of investing in herself. She was so afraid that the system wasn't going to work. And then it worked, and it's working, but because she has taken action. Remember how I talked about action? And so before I end this video, I do really want to be transparent and honest and say that confidence is not something that happens just if you have positive experiences. Confidence is something that you implement time and time again. This is very vulnerable for me to share, but I started this year with, I had a collapse and I had depression, anxiety. It's something that I have been battling since I was a teenager. And nobody in my community knew because I kept just taking action, right? Because that's the thing with habit, is that even though you can have negative experiences, you're still programmed to take an action. But I remember I was so afraid. I was so afraid of the uncertainty. I was so afraid of the future. You know, I had started this business and I was enrolling students, but I was also worried with how I feel with this anxiety in me. Am I going to be able to lead? And the truth is that now I'm in a really good place in my life. I feel so excited about everything that's happening. But what you have to think about is, maybe I feel stuck right now, but what am I doing to move forward? Because I could have stayed stuck, and in January I could have said, I'm feeling like this, so I'm gonna let my emotions lead me, and I'm gonna stay in bed, and maybe I'm just gonna say to my community, you know what? I cannot do this. I feel like this, but I didn't, and I continued. And I just wanted to share this because sometimes we feel alone and we feel like we cannot do stuff, or we cannot do stuff that are scary. But that is, again, what English confidence is all about, is taking the steps that are scary and are risky so that you can come out to the other side feeling and achieving your personal and professional goals. So here's what I want for you. If you're a professional that reunites the following traits, and here it's like a little vocab that I'm going to give you. So first, if you're ambitious, driven, which is a synonym of ambitious as well, and if you're a self-starter, which means someone who takes the initiative, if you're a risk taker, if you're resilient, and if you're brilliant in what you do, but you feel that English does not come naturally to you and you cannot express yourself as well as you do in your native language, then I invite you to click the link below and start taking action, and let's have a chat. Because as someone who has reached the English confidence status, I can help you follow the same path. But I cannot help you if you're not an action taker. If you're not someone who wants to make a decision to change. Because as I've said before, you can have the best mentor, the best teacher, but if you're not at a point where you want to make a change, then nothing's gonna work. So let me give you little tips to build self-confidence within so that you can get to that point. You can journal in English, and I've talked more about that in this video right here about journaling. It's a very good tactic so that you can debrief and you can just reflect on where you are in your English confidence journey. And the other thing is, start taking action in things that scare you. Start, conversing with your friends, start scheduling chats in English. And even though I know that that's not enough, you need more elements to achieve English confidence status, those are things that can get you started. And I know that the majority of traditional methods focus on grammar, and I've heard many professionals, they said, okay, I can read, I can maybe write a little bit, but communication, speaking skills are the things that I need help with. And I understand that because I've been there before. Most methods focus on grammar, my method doesn't. It really focuses on you stepping out of your comfort zone in English. So I am so excited that I got to make this video. As I said, I was a little bit nervous, but thank you if you stayed until the end of the video watching. And I do want to invite you to apply to the English Confidence Method. We have a community in which professionals start taking action on their professional personal goals because they feel they can build native-like English skills. So link is going to be below. Subscribe if you haven't done so, like the video so that we can help the algorithm. And I do invite you to check out this list that's more on English confidence skills, and this video that is about the secret of feeling confident in English. I really hope this inspires you to take action. Bye.